Hello and welcome to the Sports Blog on the Greater STL Sports Network. Robert Bowlesby here with you. You can tweet me at rbowlesbyjr. You can tweet the Greater STL Sports Network at Greater STLSN. You can find us on YouTube and Facebook at Greater STL One Word Sports Network. And I've been trying to get the show back again. Now, I can blame it on life. I can blame it on whatever I want to blame it on. It's mostly laziness is mostly what it's about. We're going to try to get it back going, try to get back in the groove. Probably won't do as much as I did last time doing different kinds of shows. I kind of want to strictly be a sports show. I like doing the sports. I like talking the shit. I can talk the shit on the show too. But I kind of always want to mix in sports. It's fun. It's more fun that way. But, you never know. You never know. I'm so off the wall. It's crazy. I mean, I do things that put me in situations to where I can't win. So I could say I'm not going to do 3 shows and end up doing 3 shows. I could say I'm going to do 1 show a week and do 1 show a month. Who knows? Well, we're coming back. And we're going to start it off with the first show back with baseball. And it's funny that I wrote these stats down a couple days ago and they can't change because you're not in the playoffs. And I haven't really watched the playoffs because the Cardinals aren't in. And I work nights, so it's kind of hard to kind of catch every game. You see who wins. You watch your Sports Center highlights. You get on YouTube, Twitter, all that. Same old thing. But it's 3 years in a row now that the Cardinals haven't made it. And 3 years in a row, you've heard the same thing from Gersh, the GM, who's not the GM. He's just another talking head. So when Mozeliak don't want to talk to him, like, well, you wanted to talk to the GM, you're talking to Gersh now, blah, blah, blah. And it's not like this team's not transparent. It's not like that they don't talk. I mean, Bill DeWitt Jr. gets out there sometimes. Bill DeWitt the third gets out there a lot. So it's not like this team hasn't been out there. It's just that they repeat the same thing. I think it's always like Bill DeWitt Jr. always says, well, the third. And then the third says Mozeliak. And Mozeliak just says the same thing. And it was nice to see they finally held somebody accountable. But they're holding the wrong people accountable. That's the problem. Because if you're not going to hold himself accountable too, then there's something wrong. You can't just blame everything that happened on Matheny, on Mabry, on the coach, on whoever you want to blame it on. That's just not factual. And he finally said that, we haven't had a cornerstone player, but we've developed and we've been right there, blah, blah, blah. Same old crap. He said we're missing parts in our lineup. The problem is they don't see it. It's always like they focus on one thing. This team's missing parts everywhere. Not just with hitting, not just with pitching. I mean, there's not just with defense. It's all of them. I mean, this wasn't one of the greatest defensive teams in the world. Like, they can act like it because it was talked about with Bader and Wong. But you can't look at this team and say anybody else was that great on defense. It was supposed to be one of your best defensive players. I'm not going to say you faked an injury, but you got lucky he got injured. And Dexter Fowler, who was supposed to be a great defensive player, that's not. Ozuna, who won a Gold Glove the year before. He can't throw the ball. Martinez can't play first. I don't know where Carpenter can play. DeYoung has his spots. And it's not like this team's all that great at pitching. He said we got 10 starters going into the offseason. And you can name names. I mean, I can name a bunch of names on the Cardinals and say, hey, we got 10 starters. I can do that. I can do that myself. If I wanted him to do that and make up things, basically, and say things like, well, we got 10 starters going off season, we'll see where it goes. I can name one. And that's Miles Michaelis. And there's no point to getting into stats with him and all that. And I'm not going to get much into the pitching stats. Because we know what they did. There's not one person on the pitching staff that was consistent. And there's actually two. And I forgot about Flannery, too. I had him lower on my list. I actually got him and Michaelis on the same side, and I missed it. But so there's two. There's Flannery and there's Michaelis. Other than that, I don't know what he's seeing. I guess you can pencil in Martinez, maybe, but you got to worry about the injury. And he didn't look that bad out of the bullpen. I mean, that's almost something to look at. So I'll pencil in 3. You got to pencil in 4 because of Wainwright. So we'll see what they do with that, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. So we're saying we got 10 guys. We don't have 10 guys. We got 2, 3. If Carlos Martinez can ever be consistent in that position, because he has the temper tantrums, he has that one bad inning and he can't get out of it, and he can't find a way to control anything, which he didn't seem to have that in the bullpen. But it was also after he's been injured, and you're coming back in, you're going to have your adrenaline's going to be up. He was just happy to be out there, which is kind of cool to see, see a guy like that. But I just hope that he's not looking at this as like, I hope it's not the Wainwright parade. I hope that it doesn't go into season when we go with Wainwright, that's going to be his parade out. I hope that he sees and that Wainwright, that is, and the Mozeliak sees that, hey, if it's not working out, it's not working out, and maybe try something else. Maybe see that maybe Adam has saying, hey, I'm going to maybe try the bullpen, which would be nice to see. Would be something different. It'd be kind of cool to see Adam Wainwright out there closing games. I just hope that they had come to that point if it comes to that point. I hope it doesn't come to that point. I hope if he's got an under 4 ERA, I'm cool with that. I'm not worried about the money and nothing like that. They have the money. I don't care what he gets paid. We paid Brett Cecil enough money. We paid Mike Leake enough money. I think we're okay on money. I'm not worried about the money. I just hope it's not a send Adam Wainwright out there for whatever 20 starts or whatever it's going to be, and just let him fail every time. And then you always got to worry about the sophomore slump, and that you can say that Michaelis was in the major leagues before. Well, he sucked. And he came back this year and maybe figure something out. Well, maybe they figure out something on him. Same thing for Flannery. Other than that, you're at a lost cause on every part of the pitching staff after that. And he says there's 10 guys. So you can look through there. So you can say Reyes, but you don't know. I mean, that's a guy you just 2 years in a row. There's nothing you can say that says, well, you can count on Anthony Reyes. How about that going back to the 2000s? Alex Reyes. Then there's Joaquin Weaver. That's in the same boat with me on them two. They're 5 to 6 inning pitchers. And you don't know what Walker's going to be with the arm injury. You don't know what Weaver was so inconsistent, this horrible down the second half of the season that you weren't even pitching him. You tried to throw him out there. You tried to get him to start, and he couldn't do it. And then you kept seeing him in the bullpen. I don't remember if he came out, but I know I seen him throw a lot out there. And then after that, I guess it's Ponce de Leon and Gant and maybe Hudson. And Gant was up and down. You would like to see him out there. You would like to see him build off of this, but I mean, it's inconsistent. It's inconsistencies. It's not like you can pencil somebody in and just say, here you go, here's the ball, here's the fifth game. And they might even roll with a 6-man rotation because of Adam Wainwright. So it's a whole thing that they just seem to, they try to like play back to say, well, we said something bad, but we're going to say something good. Because it goes farther than that with the bullpen. Other than Hicks, I can't see one guy that you can say that you feel good about in that bullpen. And Hicks wasn't all that great. It's nice to see a guy throw 105 miles per hour, but it would be nice to have consistency. When you got a guy like Hudson that looked good, he could be a guy. But then there's guys like Norris. There's guys like Bowman. There's Cecil. There's Gregerson. There's Leone. There's guys out that you have on this pitching staff that I don't know should be on this team next year. You could say it's a position of strength because you got a lot of guys in the major leagues. But you got a lot of guys in the major leagues because either pitchers sucked and you faked injuries, or they were injured. So you can say depth, and you could keep trying to plant it. But it's a door that can be walked right through. There's not a whole lot of strength just because you have depth. I mean, there's still guys that are in the minor leagues that you're still talking about. Austin Warner. Should be kind of cool to see him. He pitched for the Rascals. That'd be kind of cool to see him get in. But that's what they try to do, though. That's what Benzelek has always done. He's always tried to say, well, it's a position of strength. It's a position of strength. It's a position of strength. To try to put it down like it's something good. I can keep telling you this podcast is great, this podcast is great, this podcast is great. Well, the podcast probably sucks. So I really don't give a flying fuck because I'm not going to keep saying the podcast is great. But I can keep telling you that, try to implant it. And you can fall for it. Or you can, like, look through the fucking window he's putting right in front of you. So I just can't see how you don't see as it almost like it'd be like rehabbing a home. Like this has been our home for the last 5, 6, 7 years. We're gonna have to upgrade it. But upgrading is got to come from somewhere else other than in your team. And they've tried to sign people. I'm not going to say they didn't try to sign Hayward. I'm not going to try to say they didn't go out and get Stanton. David Price already said that they tried and Boston called and blah, blah. He woke up and he's Red Sox the day before he thought he was going to be a Cardinal. So, there's still second-tier pitchers that are better than the pitchers that we got. I mean, and Norris had a great year. He faltered down the stretch. Hopefully that comes around. Maybe he needs to pitch less games. Maybe you need some, And you can't say that you can consistently put somebody else out there and say they're going to pick up that kind of slack. Because, I'm just on the pitching. And there's a lot to go through. You really don't know who's going to be your closer. You're going after a 40-year-old Rick Ankiel coming back to go for a left-hander reliever. You're at least talking to him, which should happen. If the Cardinals don't get him, it doesn't make any sense to me. for either side. And he said it's a money thing. Money shouldn't be a factor, but he's talking points. It's talking points. It's something that people have. Everybody has it. Talking points, and they just strictly stay with it. Because honestly, you're third fiddle in this division right now. Look at Milwaukee, one game from going to the World Series. You got the Cubs, who are just on a roll. And the Reds looked good. The Pirates just got Chris Archer, and you know how they build with it. And they've spent money. They've made trades over the last few years, so they're starting to recoup some of that, be sucking for a few years. And they were obviously smart enough to get, hey, we're going through another kind of rebuild. We go out and get a guy like Archer while getting rid of another guy like McCutchen. The Cardinals don't consistently do that. We waited on every single player. We waited on Pham. Pham was 29 years old, been in the minor leagues forever, been doing the same thing, and they could say the eye injury, well, what he was doing in the minors. I mean, that's a guy that you probably could have kept while getting rid of other players. And I know nobody probably wanted Fowler. You made the trade you could have made at the time. Understand it, you're going to have to start paying Tommy Pham a little bit more money. He's going to want it. Let him go showcase himself somewhere else and get that money somewhere else. Or maybe even come back here. Dottie's coming back here. 0% chance of him coming back here. But what I'm saying, and he went out and climbed for the race. But Scotty, people can put that in there. It's a whole different thing. But if you notice, when we make a trade, we don't upgrade with a free agent. We go within. Diaz, DeYoung, Grichuk, Scotty. You could say Ozuna and Fowler. But all that ends up with Pham. All that ends up with a guy like Martinez out there playing right field. That ends up with a little trade of Marco Gonzalez and Tyler O'Neill, which is kind of building within. That's what I would call it. You traded one of your top prospects for a hitting prospect. But there's guys you see inside as free agents. And he's the new little non-waiver trades, which is crazy. I mean, there's guys that went through. We got Matt Adams. The Cubs got a guy like Daniel Murphy. I'm not saying, but that Matt Adams wasn't the pickup that we needed at the time. You needed the left-handed power bat. You needed something in the middle of your lineup. You needed something to go down the stretch because you didn't have it. But it's also not a position of need. When you have a guy that can play first and Matt Carpenter or a guy like Jose Martinez, if you're going to go for the left-handed power bat at the time, which you could have put on the waivers before the Cubs, would be a Daniel Murphy, a guy that could have played probably a second or third base. And I've actually seen him play first before. So even if you wanted to throw Carpenter at third, which I would probably trust Daniel Murphy a lot more at third than I would. But that would be building from something you didn't have. Even if Floyd Wong was playing great and you got a guy like Daniel Murphy and he's left-handed and blah, blah. So the fuck what? Well, there's a point in time where you got to start stepping up and doing certain things. Definitely when you have a chance with the shitty-ass teammates you have. I mean, this team just wasn't that good. And you had a chance at the time, and you went after a left-handed first baseman, which provided power in the lineup, but also it kept your defense essentially exactly the same when you could have made a little bit of an upgrade with the Daniel Murphy in a position of need, because you're not going to play Judge Drico for some odd reason. And it gave you the left-handed power. It's not understandable to me. Getting a guy like Clayton Street for Luke Voigt, and look what Luke Voigt did. Which you needed the left-hander or the bullpen. I understand that. If you're going to do that, do it when you need something you need. But it seems like we leave things floating out there. It doesn't happen. And it was nice to go get Ozuna that he's hurt the whole season. Another problem is you don't have a consistent leadoff hitter in this lineup. And everybody's like, oh, Matt Carpenter has to bat first. He has to bat first. He has to bat first. Well, he's not that good at batting first. Whether you can say he hits all the home runs and gets all the RBIs. Batted 115 games at first. 430 at bats. 264, his average is 257. And I looked up all his stats. And people talked about the great Augies he had because he hit all the home runs and had all the RBIs. Well, honestly, if you're going to go at him as an MVP candidate, I think you would have to go at June and July if you look at them stats. And they only gave him 60 at-bats somewhere else in the lineup. It's two other positions in the lineup. So 120 at-bats. 30 just wasn't that good. Second, he batted 254 or 245. So 20 points lower. But it really wasn't given a shot. If you gave him 436 at-bats, how would you know he wasn't going to hit 264? Or bat what he batted at 257? He's not a consistent leadoff hitter. Just because that's where he hits, well, he's got to figure it out. And there's nobody on the team you can put there. Bader, 264 hitter. So what Carpenter's average. Wong, another guy you would put there because of the speed. A 249 hitter, and he's just not that good. And this team is not, they said they signed people for fat because of speed. They're just not that good at stealing bases neither. They're just not a good running team. There's nothing good. There's nothing above an average on this team. And I love when they put the grades in the paper and they give people A's. And I'll see Yachty. I'll see a guy like Miles Michaelis. Maybe even a John Flaherty could have got an A. You give Matt Carpenter an A, that just doesn't fit well with me. A 264 hitter it's not an A-plus player. His defense, there's nothing he provides on defense. I never could figure out why they haven't put him in the outfield. It's not like you're throwing all this great defensive strong-arm people out there. I mean, if he can throw just as good as Ozuna, why not put him out there and try to get something else? Try to put something else at these power positions that he plays. Or put him at second base. That should be the only choices that the Cardinals have. It's not like that they can't play second base not that well. Adam Craig played second base for a long time. He played center fucking field for that fact. I mean, I'd rather have Bader out there. You have to go and make improvements. You have, if you're going to have, if you supposedly have this position of strength, it's so much a position of strength, well, maybe you should even it out. Because it doesn't make sense to just stay like you are, because it's going to happen the same thing where we get that close and that close. And maybe we don't have these chances next year where we get that close because of a team like the Reds coming up. Earlier in the season, we were fourth in this division, fighting for last place, fighting to stay above last place. It's just not. And because we had one good month, we got in there, and it's not like the Cubs were playing all that great at the time. I remember Anthony Rizzo was going nuts, going after reporters for what they said and stuff like that. It's just That's how things roll. And did you see what happened? Is that everybody faltered down the stretch. Carpenter faltered down the stretch. The whole team faltered down the stretch. So to say you got this and that and this and that, and you're going to build with my bow tie, haven't said that, and all that, it doesn't matter. You can't try to keep fooling us into believing that because you have something here, it bodes well for the rest of the team, or 2018, 2019. And he said something crazy like, well, if we're still in 2018, we're looking to improve on the 2018 team. Well, you should be looking to improve on the 2008. There's no improving a team that doesn't have anything. It's Carpenter wherever he plays. It's Yadier, Molina, and DeYoung. That's the only positions. It may be Bader. So there's 4 positions, and then those are main positions. That's shortstop. That's a good power hitter and good run producer in Matt Carpenter. I mean, I'm not guaranteeing Ozuna a spot if you can get something better. And with his control and his contract, I mean, there's still going to be teams that want him. But you can guarantee that spot if you want to. But I don't think second should be a guarantee. I don't think first and third base should be a guarantee. You could put Carpenter in one of them. Or maybe throw him out in right field. You're going to get rid of Fowler anyways. Tyler O'Neill's up and down when he's been in the major leagues. He's done well when he's been in the minor leagues here. But it's about when you get to the major leagues. And he actually was hitting better than Bader. I don't know how much you trust him in center field, though, either. But that's good power off the bench. I mean, there's things to build upon. They just never built upon them. Like I said, it's like rehabbing a house. Well, they built the foundation, they put up the walls, but they've just left the inside completely bare. And in a time when everybody's starting to spend a little bit of money, even on people that don't deserve it, when they get high-quality players at a young age, you're going to see these 5, 6, 7-year crazy contracts. The Cardinals are going to have to go out there and deal with it, even though they don't like doing it. Because it's not like they're going out there and signing 30-year-olds. They're signing these 24, 25-year-olds. They're getting to the major leagues quick because a team like the Braves can find them. And look what they did. They went to the playoffs. We haven't found that. And everybody say we go back and lost touch with Oscar Taveras. Well, that's one guy. I mean, a team like the Nationals and Soto, and I can't really remember the other guy's name off the top of my head, but that's 2 right there. Like I said, the Braves, it looks like, and I said Soto, but it looks like the Marlins are going out and getting these 2 Soto kids. We haven't found that. Yeah, we keep saying that we base our team off that, and like it's a position of our strength when we don't have anything. The cookie jar is empty. There's nothing to reach in for anymore. You're running out of excuses. You lost Matheny. You lost Mabry. That was the 2 guys that got blamed on the most. They're running out of excuses now. And it has to be fixed. There has to be something to where the DeWitts have to say, we've given you this, and this. Why haven't you produced something? Why have you let this, and this go, and look what they've done here, and you've only gotten back this, and this? Well, their scouting department has been one of the best. I don't want to hear it no more. It's the same rotating, fucking spinning wheel, and he keeps just missing bankrupt. Because this team stays in contention. And it's great to see, but it would be nice to, at least have game 163. Have something to look forward to. 'Cause if you're a real fan, you know that you're not going to make the World Series every year, but at least make it a little bit exciting. Not like knowing that, like when you go in the last week of season, even though you're only 2 or 3 games back, it looks great on paper. Until you do the math. And then you figure out that, we really don't have the chance. It looks great when you're like, you seem like you're fighting and you don't have you really ain't fighting for nothing. You're fighting for third place in the division. So to say some of the things he said just makes you think that it's really not going to change. Saying we're building on the 2018 team. Well, you have to build for 2019 and 2020. You either need to go in a stretch of where you're going to produce something, or you need to gut the team and play the Houston Astros role, the Atlanta Braves role. That's the only thing that makes sense. And I wouldn't mind to see either one. I wouldn't mind. Sometimes your team's going to suck. You watch enough football in this town to know that sometimes your team's going to suck. And sometimes you got to be okay with that. False promises and false hope is retarded to even want to have. Definitely in a sport and with a team that has the money. And you can go out and get the players. But it has to start being, something has to start being held accountable for that to happen. And that needs to be Mozeliak, or at least Gersh. At least put his name out there if you're going to not blame it on Mozeliak. Well, we have two teams here. And the other one's not giving you much to talk about either. And it's based on a cornerstone player that we say is a cornerstone player, of course. And you would love for him to be a cornerstone player because it's your goalie. But this is another team in St. Louis that knows the fan base, knows the reporters, knows that, that they can feed you bullshit lines and give you the same BS answers every year. And they don't have the money of the Cardinals. I know that this team, and you can see it, they put it in the paper, that this team runs in red. Unless they make the playoffs, make a deep run into playoffs, and then they make a little bit of money off that. But it's basically, and we're building within, blah, blah, blah. Look at our fourth line. We got an 18-year-old out there and all these young players. And, well, you can have all this great talent. But if your goalie can't stop the pucks. And I've never been a big fan of Jake Allen. And that's the problem. I never got the whole Jake Allen thing. I never got the thing over Brian Elliott. I definitely didn't get the thing last year of bringing him back over Carter Hutton. That makes zero. Just unequivocal. Just not. This guy is the most inconsistent player. He's like Sam Bradford. He's like a better version of Sam Bradford. That's what Jake Allen is to me. And the problem is we don't have like that backup goalie like we've had. Like with the Carter Huttons of the world and the Brian Elliott's. For him to be a bad goalie this year. And like people keep blaming like everything that's happened. Like his goals against and all that. Oh, it's the defense. It's the defense. Well, the defense has really... I've never seen what the people have seen in this defense anyways. Like, I've always seen, like, Edmondson as a more offensive player. I don't know why they haven't involved him more in the offense. Parayko, another one that was more of an offensive player. Petro's an offensive player. And then your other one's Bouwmeester, who I don't know what he is. So I don't know what the new thing about the defense is either. I don't know. I don't get people who haven't seen that in the last few years. But that's what your goalie's for. And he's been inconsistent since they groomed him up and brought him up and played him over Brian Elliott and played him over Carter Hutton. He's been that same goalie. He can go in stretches. He can give you a good 5 or 6 games in a row, but he's going to play a good 5, 6, or 8 in a row bad. And allow unnecessary goals and play unnecessary plays and think that he's some ice skater or something out there playing every single puck that goes behind the back, which I've started to learn in hockey. Not learn, but as I've been watching more and more hockey, that I've seen a lot more goalies starting to play the puck more out there. And I mean, it's kind of fun. It keeps the game going and all that. He's just not the best at it. Now, we've seen it for some reason like playing pass in our defensive zone, which is great. You know, it's kind of nice, just pass the puck in front of the middle of the net and hope somebody doesn't take it away. But, I mean, this, for the last, I'm thinking 5 years maybe, this has been the same offensive team. And, you know, what they said about Davis Payne, and I mean, it goes probably longer than that. But every year, I mean, every couple of years, it's always something different with Andy Murray and Davis Payne. I was like, this I love a coach. Now it's going on with Mike Yeo. He's lost the locker room and blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's the coach anymore. I think it's a system. It has to be a system thing. The playing the same, the dump and run thing, doesn't make any sense. And we play it more and more, way more when we got the lead. If you're not going to go out there and make offensive attempts when you're in the lead, you know what happens is you lose the lead. And that's what this team does. I mean, I swear to you that this team, if you look in the last minute of games throughout the last, I'll go 2 or 3 years, that they have to allow the most goals. When you had one the other night, a game-winning goal with 12 seconds left. On a bad pass, but it wasn't like the greatest attempt to stop it either. And there needs to be a change. You're blaming everything on the offense, right? And for some reason, I still see something in Tarasenko where he doesn't like shooting. I don't get that. I mean, he shoots a lot. I don't know, don't get me wrong, but I think he should be shooting every time. He seems hesitant, and he seems to hate to dump and run. It seems like he dumps the puck and goes to the bench. I think he's in. I mean, if you're going to have the talent that can play it, that's great. If you think you got all these speedsters and can go chase the puck, I just haven't seen it yet. I think I once said, I'll give Bouwmeester one thing. I once said that Bouwmeester looked like he was the fastest skater on our team. I mean, it's great that he can skate fast, I guess. He can get to the defensive goal zone quick so he can fall down in front of you or miss the puck or whatever he decides to do that day. Does suck. And I'm being a little opinionated on Jay Bouwmeester. I'm sorry, Jay Bouwmeester. I don't mean it. I'm just joking. But it's not like that. I don't see anything different on this team with the defense. I mean, you got your top 6 guys, and then they throw somebody back there, usually Bertuzzo or whoever they can find, Chris Butler. Another guy that seems to stay here and just stay here and just stay here, like Bertuzzo, never gets playing time, and they'll throw somebody else out there, whoever they decide is going to play defense that day, and not give these guys consistent chances. Like Bertuzzo should play 82 games on this team at this point, if you're going to have him here. I've never seen anything wrong with his defensive game that makes me think that he's not as good as Bouwmeester. Not one. that he's not as good as Edmondson. I mean, it's just things like that. Like, I like that they went to the offensive fourth line this year instead of having, the same old school, the Brodziak, Ott, Reeves line. Which I like that line. That's a great line. But if you're going to do it, do something different. If you're going to change it up, change it up. But you can't have a goalie that can't set the puck. I mean, the Blues in the game, 5-1, 5-4. They win 5-3. I mean, that's still 3 goals. They lose 4-3. The game that Chad Johnson actually played, he only allowed 3 goals, 3-2. You go 3-2, then tonight 4-1. So he's been better over the last few games, but if so far, he hasn't shown me anything that's going to make me think that anything's going to get any better. You can play the great games, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. They're going to have 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row that are the 5-1, 5-4. You got to win 5-3. And I went all the way down to it. Like getting on the defense, Petro and Bouwmeester. -5 and -4. Your 2 top defenders have -5, -4. That's not to have him. Tarasenko down there at -5. Your top blue is tied from 117 to 171 at Edmondson at +2. Now let's go to Jake Allen. 344 goals against. That's just not going to get it done. And it's consistent. I mean, it's consistent with what he's done. He's tied for the lowest in the league. Or 18th lowest in the league. He's tied for the most goals allowed in the league. Now, he is tied with, if you want to go and look at it with other players, you can look at it with Elliott's tied for games with the most goals allowed. Hutton's tied for 5th worst. And they've all played about the most games. But if you look at a guy like Ben Bishop, that you could have had just for fun, for St. Louis guy, it's only like 12 goals allowed in 5 games. I don't think he's going to get to 21. And you have the most goals in the league right now. It's Jake Allen. I mean, I've seen a lot was down low on that list. Inconsistent goalie play is going to cost his team another chance to actually be good. And it's going to be a fall in love thing with Jake Allen where they're going to blame it on somebody else, and it's going to be Mike Yeo, even though if he doesn't deserve it or not. Or it's going to be something on the offensive players or the defense. Because they always make some kind of weird, like, not smart trade, like the Jay Bouwmeester trade. Like where they try to, make the team better. Ryan Miller at one point. I forgot about Ryan Miller. That tells you something right there about Jake Allen. So obviously they've seen it and they just don't want to make the change. I just don't get it. I mean, it's not like Carter Hutton's playing the greatest hockey of the season. But you should at least try to give him a chance. And it was funny to see something today about Jake Allen. Like, he career leader in road wins for the Blues. So, there's always something trying to masquerade something. It's always the last thing you see, too. So you would have seen that on Twitter tonight, and you was like, oh, that looks great. And you wouldn't have looked at 5-4 and 5-1 losses. To lose 5-4 in the NHL. I mean, I know it's the second game of the season, but that just doesn't make any sense. I mean, but it's not just his fault. I mean, it's not like that this team is like the greatest offensive team in the world. I mean, the power play still sucks. It's getting better. It's time been going on so far this season. But, I mean, it's still not like the greatest thing in the world. And when the playing up, when we play up, we play like we're up like 5 goals every game. When we're up, we could be up 1-0. We're playing like we've scored 15 goals that game. The dump and run. I mean, the dump. I could spend 45 fucking minutes on how much I hate the dump and run. And we play it whenever we're up. I don't know if it's like something like Hitchcock like put them in a lull in, like they can't get out of their head, because it's still a lot of the same players. When you've added some here and there, Ryan O'Reilly, and some of the young players, but they've been through the system, so it's the same thing, the Robert Thomases of the world. I mean, and they just, and I don't get it. I don't see it. I just don't see it. And I hope it gets better. I just don't know if it's going to get better with Jake Allen. No, they're starting to play a little better. But it's just some things you get. I understand change is hard, but it just doesn't. Understandably, make any sense. Why, if you're going to change everything else and try something different, why you haven't tried something different in goal? When you've seen that, or at least try to get a backup because you've seen that he's needed that. I mean, he played great in his first game, but if you look at Chad Johnson's stats, I mean, it's scary. It's scary to see that that's our backup goalie when we got a guy like Jake Allen as our number one goalie. But this team's gonna mesh better on offense. So hopefully, hey, you can have a guy a goalie that's gonna allow 4 goals a game. Hopefully, you get guys like Thomas going in, a guy like Ryan O'Reilly and Tarasenko starts to get going, and a guy like Patrick Maroon goes out there and show you can score 20 goals consistently. David Perron, because you're going to need it with Jake Allen in goal. And now, I was reading a story. I would go through tons of stories from weird news, and it's just fun for me. I like looking up the weird news stories. That's probably why that's the one thing that's been consistent on this show. Like, we tried some other things, and I'm gonna try something different probably today. Maybe at the end here. And like when I was getting to the end of the stories, which I tend to do, I save probably every time 10 to 15 stories, and I use 5 or 6. Well, I see one where a cop was making people wear Nike clothes and jail pictures because of the Kaepernick stuff. And the whole thing from beginning to end is hilarious to me. It shows you how that social media runs the world and that literally runs the world. And what you see now is it's the millennials' fault. They ruin everything. There was a story I read about they ruined divorce because they're divorced, and they what was the other one? Oh, they're ruining American cheese because they don't eat American cheese because they like the good cheese, the stuff that comes, what the fuck ever. French cheese. I don't know what the fuck cheese is called. I get cheese, motherfucker. Whatever cheese I see. But it's fucked up now how social media has gave everybody a goddamn opinion on everything. Like, this cop probably wasn't like some 25-year-old cop like you want to call millennials. It was probably some older guy that, supports Trump and wanted his opinion out there. And he could put it out there on Facebook or Twitter under the cops thing and say, oh, look at this. Look what not kneeling for the anthem does. But what did it matter about the anthem before? Who would, if it wasn't for what somebody could say on Twitter or Facebook, like, it would make a big deal, but would it really matter this much to where Colin Kaepernick will never have to play football again? Colin Kaepernick will have enough money for the rest of his life to where he never has to touch a football again. Now, does he want to? He probably does. Maybe he actually, honestly, at this point, I don't see why he would. But Facebook and Twitter and all that other crap has given people a voice. And I'm going to talk about this more, but I want to tell you, I looked through Indeed 24/7 for jobs. I have a job. I'm always trying to find a different or better second or, just something. Just looking. I'm always looking. And if I see a job I want to, it might be a good second job, I'll apply for it. If I see a job that maybe I could work around with the other job, maybe because my first job, I apply for it. But literally, how bad it's gotten is literally everywhere is hiring a social media something. Social media intern, social media marketing, something. Like some of the places I looked up, there was home care, an HVAC company, the Blues, a property company, that, runs apartments. I mean, it went deeper. There was warehouses. There was hired for people to run their social media. And it's gotten so bad to where it's given everybody so much of their opinion that they're taking it not only from that the actual non-keyboard gangsters are taking it out there and making everything nuts. And now that you have to have a difference of opinions because you have social media, you gotta make yourself get out there and look like something that builds your brand. So now you gotta be out there and you gotta have your one-sided opinion, and your opinion matters, of course. And you can't agree on everything that somebody, or can't just agree on one thing someone says and agree on another. No, you have to agree with everything. Definitely with politics, with Trump, you got to agree with everything Trump says. You're a Trump hater. You hate America. Blah. It's giving everybody opinion where it goes out to the streets where, the Senate majority leader, I don't even know, gets stopped in a restaurant, gets paraded. Why don't you get out of here? Why don't you get out of this country? People are losing their fucking mind. Because now they got a voice. Now their stuff can be heard. Now your stuff can be seen on Facebook and Twitter 24/7. Now you can record yourself and throw it out there. I mean, people have a voice and opinion on everything and can blame it and use everything against you. And they have an entitlement. It's down to the way people drive. It's down to a lady stopping a guy from getting into his apartment building. It's these fucking crazy bitches from the Me Too movement stopping Kobe Bryant from going to an LA, be a judge on an LA film Comic-Con thing. Well, you know what it was. Film festival thing. But they stopped it because he didn't even rape the girl. He didn't get charged. She said she didn't want to follow through. She didn't want to follow through because it was consensual. They proved a lot of facts. But years later, 10 years later, I don't even know. Let's just say 5 to 10 years later, and they could stop him from doing something that he's out there getting fun and get the rape allegations back. It's always about something bringing up something that doesn't involve you, and it's not their fault. It's your fault. Everything you do is not their fault. Everything. They always got a fallback plan. Everybody, I guess it's the way that people grew up. When I grew up, I knew that life was gonna suck. You're gonna have to work through your whole life. You're gonna have to do this. You're gonna have to do that. If you don't do this, this is what's gonna happen. I knew what was gonna happen. But now, people have outs and stuff that I still don't have. I guarantee everybody that gets in a car accident, a minor car accident, blames it on the other person off the bat. And this is all because of fucking social media. And people always say, oh, well, it's the younger kids. Because more of the young kids are on social media. But these old fucking crazy people. Motherfucking pastors and shit. You never were probably said nothing remotely ridiculously dumb in their life. Got social media and they're on their fucking repping KKK and all that kinds of shit. It's just fucked up how people's minds are today. It doesn't make I can't see like one thing that where I went through my life to where I say, well, because I got a fucking Twitter, I can go do this, or because my opinions about this, I'm gonna go run in this senator's face. Nobody really gives a flying fuck about your opinion, to be honest with you. But you band these crazy people together. It's kind of like they all synced up. You got the Democrats all synced up over here. You got the Republicans all synced up over here. And they're just all synced up, and it's all crazy as fuck. It'd be like working at an all-women's prison or something. Like, for real. I mean, the funny thing is, like, you say that, and it's like, you see most of it, and it's like women doing the crazy shit. Nothing bad about women. I love you guys. But, yeah, you know, it might be, it might have been that time of the week, I decided it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, Amy Schumer. Oh, I'm not going to do this Super Bowl ad because I stand for Kaepernick. You stand for Kaepernick or whatever, you can say all this well, he didn't stand up, motherfucker. This guy would never have to work in his life again because of Twitter and Facebook. Because people can put their opinions out there, and there's so many people, and they all get up, and and then someone will think it's going to make a difference. Like, it's going to be messed up when, like, people start figuring out, like, yeah, I'm going to go back to, like, the way it was. Because you know what it's going to be? The next time around when a Democrat gets in office, either next 4 years or the 4 years after Trump runs his 8, it's going to be all the people on the other side doing the same thing that all the Republicans, like, yeah, look at us, this is America, make America great again. They're going to be on the same thing with their, whatever stupid-ass slogan that they come up with, we can, I don't fucking know. All these slogans are fucking retarded. Like, it's just something to say. Something to make you look good in the papers. And that's not the papers anymore. Something to make you look good on Twitter. Now, you can make hats and shirts and all this kind of craziness. And it turns people, like, it's almost like it used to be with, like, what they used to have all the Jehovah's Witnesses out, and, like, you could do all this. Like, it's like the religious people, like, went to politics because they couldn't get their religion out no more. Like, that's really how it feels. Like, I have my own opinions, and I say I'm on here, and blah, blah, and, like, it's like I agree with everything Trump says. I'm a Trump fan because the motherfucker's funny as hell. But I'm not it's not like I agree with everything like the dude says some crazy-ass shit that I like, I would, I'm not going to agree with in my everyday life. But it's not like I didn't disagree with everything Obama said. I'm more Democrat than Republican anyways. So it's just funny as hell, like, to see these people, like, really think, like, if we band together, we can make change. You're not making change or nothing. Because look what the other side's doing, and that's how you're going to feel and I think it's down to 2 years now. Or 6 years from now. That's the same way you're going to feel. Because it's the same thing that's going to happen. It's going to be a revolving door, and everybody's going to figure out, oh, yeah, this is the same as the old fucking way. Like, how do you get, like, just to get to do whatever you want? How do you get to not let some guy who has the key to get in the building not get in the building? How is this other lady that's going to call for the cops for the people selling lemonade in the street without a permit? Mind your own goddamn business. We're really calling on the kid. Not letting the guy. It's just crazy. This crazy, crazy, crazy people. And some people are even crazier with it. That they'll go out and fight for it. Like, literally fight and try to go kill people over Trump or whatever their beliefs are. Either people ain't getting enough pussy and dick, or y'all need to start smoking a lot more weed in this motherfucker. I guess these drugs are fucking motherfuckers up to make these motherfuckers think. I'm glad I'm not like a crazy person like this wants to go out here and try drugs. Cause I don't want to be out there like getting in fist fights for Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton or whoever. It's just nuttiness to see that like people think that their opinion matters that much that they can just go off the walls, go crazy, and like think that like nothing's gonna happen to them, and then like I got a constitution. You ain't got a constitution or nothing. Because you don't make the laws, and neither does Trump, and neither does whatever he says, and the laws are made. Like, it was funny to hear Joe Rogan say, if Thomas Jefferson came back and looked at the Constitution and said, y'all didn't change this shit I wrote with a pen with a feather on it. And that shit's funny to me. Like, that's probably how they, like, the people think. Like, there's some, like, logical sense, like, we haven't changed this, like, stupid-ass shit since 1776. Like, it's funny. I want a job as a social media intern. Let me get that job. So from that, we're going to move on to weird news. A body, and this is from FoxNews.com, a body was reported near the Ohio Preserve Thursday afternoon, and it turned out to be a sex doll, police said. County engineers in Colcern said that they saw what they thought was a body wrapped in a garbage bag on a hillside near Richard Forest Preserve, Cleveland's Fox 8 reported. Police called the coroner to the scene. Responding officers initially had trouble getting to the site, and also called the coroner to the scene. When coroners removed the body, they found a life-size female sex doll. From a distance, authorities said the doll looked lifelike. Number one, love short, weird news stories. Still couldn't read it, but it will get there. We'll get there. We'll get the reading back. Number one, why are you going to drop your sex doll? I mean, this motherfucker must have had, like, some chick coming over. Ain't never got no pussy in his life. Probably had Big Bertha coming over. She finally got to give it up. And he was like, man, I can't see you. Let this bitch see the sex doll. I'm going to go here and throw it out the back of my truck. Or maybe, I didn't think about this. Maybe this motherfucker had in the back of his truck, was on his way home. Probably took a camping or something and lost his fucking bitch, dog. Now I feel bad for the motherfucker that lost his bitch. You never know. Could be a pussy. You never know. All right, from the HuffPost.com. A cheerleader's dream of becoming homecoming queen may have gone to pot just because of a few marijuana, and this is why I hate the HuffPost, for a few marijuana brownies. Police in Hartford, Michigan are currently investigating how a batch of 12 wheat-laced desserts were distributed to a Hartford high school. You always think that you've heard or seen it all, and there's always something new that surprises you, said Patrolman Michael Prince. We are investigating two things. One, where we're putting the goodie bags for the players. Also, they were used to take votes for the Queen contest. Michigan State Police heard about the alleged brownie bribes via an anonymous tip. Snitch ass motherfuckers. All individuals involved are being dealt with according to the district police and students' handbooks. We have notified the Hartford Police Department. We are assisting them in criminal investigation, the school superintendent posted on Facebook. Hartford High School members recovered 3 of the brownies and sent them to the state crime lab for testing to confirm the presence of drugs. The remaining 9 are unaccounted for and were possibly consumed by students, Prince says. Any students who distribute the brownies could face felony charges. The cheerleaders, who's said to be the main suspect, is currently out of state, reportedly dealing with family emergency. Now, you know what other 9 went. Like, if number one, who's snitching? Who's the motherfucker saying that there's brownies? And how do you find 3 of the brownies and not have all 12? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, who kept the brownies? Who kept the brownies where they got caught? Number one. Number two, if they did, they probably did get all 12 brownies, and the teachers probably ate 9 of these motherfucking brownies. Like, I would, if I was a teacher, I would be like, fuck you. End of the school year, sounds like a, homecoming queen. Oh, I guess I'm a little off, huh? Beginning of the school, yeah, maybe, you might have to worry about drug tests and shit like that. All right, this is also from Fox News. A Florida gas station owner has placed a sign in her store asking customers not to warm their urine samples in their microwave, specifying that the oven is only for warming food. Owner Pilu Patel So she's becoming sick and tired of people walking into her BP gas station to warm the containers of urine. They're just random people walking in every day, she said. Warming urine for someone who hasn't taken drugs is seen by someone as a way to help her pass the drug test. Patel said a woman became aggressive a few months ago when she asked her not to warm her urine. She asked to see a sign that says it's not for that purpose. So Patel put one up. In May, a Denver woman was suspected of heating her urine sample in a 7-Eleven store microwave, and after the microwave blew up, and was cited for causing damage to the machine. Now, these are some bold motherfuckers. You going around just warming up urine wherever the fuck you want. That's bold as fuck. Because that's automatically like letting a cop know. Like, do they walk like out where I'm currently living? The police seem to patrol a gas. Like, do people really think that, like, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I really don't. You know, and then someone got mad and said, "Hey, why don't you put a sign up that tells me I can't heat urine in here?" I mean, how do you live where you're going around heating up urine in my fucking microwave? That scares me a little bit. You can't find nowhere else. I don't know. I don't know. Now, this is one added. This is one I didn't write down. I write these down because there's unnecessary paragraphs. There's probably unnecessary paragraphs I left in some of them. So we'll go through this weird news story as much as we can. This is from the Post-Dispatch, and the story is viewed at AP. Police removed the remains of 36 Police removed remains of 36 fetuses from a Detroit funeral home, and regulators shuttered the business amid a Wheeling investigation alleged improprieties at the local funeral home. Police Chief James Craig said officers found 36 fetuses in boxes and 27 others in freezers during Friday's raid at the Perry Funeral Home. He said he was stunned by the discovery which came a week after the remains of 10 fetuses and one infant were discovered in a ceiling at Detroit's defunct Cantel Funeral Home. Those remains were found after state regulators in Lansing received an anonymous letter. Inspectors for the State of Michigan Corporation Security and Commercial License Bureau, that's a lot to say, says in a statement that they had found hideous conditions and negligent conduct at Perry Funeral Home, including numerous failures of certified death tickets and obtained proper permits for burials. The agency statement said Friday findings point clearly toward criminal offenses of state law regulating funeral homes that could be felonies punishable by imprisonment and not more than 10 years or fine not more than $50,000. The lawsuit filed in July said alleges the Perry Funeral Home stole the remains of stillborn and live birth babies in Wayne Street State University School of Mortuary Science morgue for up to 3 years without trying to notify parents, some of whom wanted to donate the bodies to medical research. It alleges the funeral home may have frontally billed Medicaid as well as the Detroit Med School for burials it never performed. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this. I'll go through the last line. Since April, 38 unattended bodies and 269 containers of cremated remains have been discovered in the facility. And that's at the Cantel Funeral Home. And this is in Detroit, so both of them in Detroit. That's crazy as a motherfucker. Like, why you just keep around? What would you keep that around for? And in the other funeral home, the shit was in the ceiling. And they're just putting little dead babies in the ceiling. For what? I mean, that's some weird-ass fucking shit right there. I couldn't see working anymore. Like, one time, my dad was teaching me how to drive. His great idea was to take me on we was driving for his company back then, I think it was. Or maybe another company. We had this big white van. And the first place that I'm driving to in this van is to a funeral home to drop off these coffins and shit. I mean, I'm not superstitious or nothing like that. I'm not really into things. Like, I'm scared of things, though. I'm scared of, like, walking in, like, funerals scare me a little bit, like, spirits and shit. Karma scares me a little bit. Like, I ain't trying to fuck up karma. Like, I don't know if I really believe in karma. I'm just not trying to fuck with karma. I'm not trying to fuck with something that I don't know if I want to try to handle. Like, I'm not like the biggest superstitious person in the world. But, like, if, I don't want to, like, fuck with that. I don't want, like, to say, like, oh, I'm not superstitious and I'm going to go play around in a cemetery. Like, that doesn't just seem right. So, I ain't going to fuck with putting babies in the motherfucking ceiling. I'm just not going to fuck with it. All right, moving on to some local stories. So this is from myleaderpaper.com. Nice little paper run out of Jefferson County. Investigators found more than $32,000 in counterfeit money in a home in DeSoto. A search also turned up the remains of unknown amount of counterfeit money that had been burned or destroyed, 4 printers in a meth lab, and a few grams of the drug. DeSoto Police State Seth McCreary reports. 2 men, one from Peevely and one from DeSoto, were arrested on suspicion of several crimes related to narcotics, counterfeiting, and resisting arrest. Now, I'm not going to incriminate myself here. I wish when I was in DeSoto, I met these motherfuckers. You're sitting around with $32,000 worth of counterfeit money. The funny thing is you kind of know where that all went. And that's obviously to math. Oh, let's counterfeit money and then go spend it all on drugs. And then see, this is the problem when you do drugs and you do like dumb shit like counterfeit money. It's snitches. And all drug motherfuckers are snitches because they're going to get arrested one time. It don't matter what they're arrested for either. They get arrested for a fucking quarter gram of fucking dope. And they still going to go in there and snitch on your bitch ass. And that's just how life works. Just to get whatever it is, it's and a quarter gram. That's got to be a misdemeanor. Controlled substance. I don't know how that works. Never got caught with a controlled substance. There, you know what I'm saying? Don't fuck with it. I just don't know how much it costs. So let's just say $200. So these motherfuckers will straight fuck up your whole situation over $200. Over $32,000, you got fucked over for probably $200. Because someone snitched on this shit. I mean, cops just don't know that there's a meth lab in the random person's basement. Because I've been in the neighborhoods where the cops are up and down and there's been meth labs in the basement. So I've seen it. So I know that. That's why I don't fuck with motherfuckers that do dumb shit. Basically. I sit here and fucking think about doing this motherfucking podcast every day. Never done it. Never do it. Because I just can't fuck with shit like that. But I wish I would have met these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Alright. Last one from STL today. A police officer was charged with assault for allegedly punishing 2 prisoners. Wow, I said that word fucked up. She was transported in August for making rude comments. Officer Lori Wozniak faces 2 misdemeanor counts of 4th-degree assault in St. Louis Circuit Court. Charge documents claim 2 arrestees said rude things to each other about Wozniak. She told her sergeant about it and said she wanted to drop them off at Riverview Boulevard and 270 and make them walk home. She also said she was going to stop hard at every stop sign. Wozniak jammed on her brakes of the cruiser, causing both victims to slide forward on the metal benches of the cruiser, causing one prisoner to suffer a bruise above his eye, the charging documents say. Wozniak later claimed she stopped for a dog crossing the road, but in-car cameras contradicted that claim. A sergeant filed a misconduct report that night saying Wozniak operated a transfer vehicle in a careless manner, resulting in physical injury to a prisoner, according to the copy of the report obtained. She is due to appear in court November 7th. Now, see, that's why you don't fuck around with the police. And now all this fucking bullshit, not even fucking with the police. Now they got cameras all over this motherfucking. They got cameras in the car, police watching you. I wish these had these motherfuckers when I was getting fucked with the police. The motherfucking police and they beat the fuck out of you. They didn't give a fuck how young you were. They didn't give a flying fuck. And now, you can't even fuck around when you a cop no more. I bet they, like if I was a cop and I couldn't fuck around no more, oh man, that's the whole point of having this motherfucking job. But you see, it happens to everybody. You see, now everybody getting caught up. You know, you got the cops getting caught up. And it's funny. She's like, fuck it. You said you want to suck shit on me. Now, I feel like she should get away with this. Like, if the video is in there and, like, they're talking about fucking her or whatever and shit like that, and she stops hard and wants to stop something, I feel like she could get away with it. Like, y'all motherfuckers in handcuffs for a reason. So, yeah, you know, probably should not fuck up. But now they got cameras everywhere, but you're good for the most part. When they out here shooting everybody, then it's witness, I don't want to get into that. I'm not on either one side. That's all I can say. And that's weird news for today. Now, something I kind of thought could be in weird news. But it kind of mixes in with something else, I was going to talk about. Anyway. So, there was a lady suing Ladue, the school district. Sorry, we had a little technical difficulty there, so let's just get back into it, what I was talking about. Now, there was a lady that sued the Ladue school district because her son didn't make the varsity team, and because he was not a freshman or a sophomore, that he couldn't play on the JV team. So she sued to basically say, well, he should get to play on a team. Now, she recently dropped a lawsuit I think it was this week. But that's what I was talking about earlier with entitlement. They're like this, people that think they're entitled to think that she was entitled for her son to play on the team. Because he made it before. Why can't he play now? Because they said he can't. And this is a funny little soccer story to talk about something that's actually happened and that's going on in St. Louis, and that's with Jim Cavanaugh and I think his name's Jim Taylor, pretty sure, of Enterprise, owns Enterprise, of building a soccer stadium down in Union Station to try to convince the MLS to have an expansion team in St. Louis. Now, we really do need this. As the city really needs this. I'm not in the city, it'd be cool to have, I'm not gonna spend any more or less time or money on it than I would doing anything else that I would do with my money. But it'd be kind of cool to gain something after losing something. Something that was important to this town, something that generated popularity in town, something that generated money in this town, something that generated, even if it was just one day a week because they sucked for 16 weeks, it was something. And really, this is kind of, a little bit of a soccer town. I didn't see no soccer happening when I was down hanging out in Arizona. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a joke, if you understood it. Not as much soccer as I've seen here. But just in generating some kind of excitement, whether it's soccer or not, I think it's something good for the city of St. Louis. And then if you're not really leaving it up to somebody to vote on now, because now we can't fuck around and use this tax bullshit that we're always trying to use. If someone's got something to say something about, some retarded alderman, probably Anthony French, you knowing him, he probably don't get rid of everything, get rid of the Cardinals. He's probably one trying to send them over to Illinois before they got the new stadium. Even if he was down there or not, he probably had something to do with it. I really don't care. I just don't like the guy. There's a couple other ones I don't like. I don't remember them too much by name because they're not out there every second like this dude is. I mean, just some of the stuff that he says and some of the stuff that he opposes. And that's all. And it's just because he wants his opinion heard. Because he's a politician, Good for him for getting in the limelight. You want your opinion to matter and be heard, and everybody gets to freaking hear it. There you go. That's what he did. That's what Antonio French did. And good for him. But for these two people to step up, Jim Kavanaugh, who has a soccer team already with St. Louis FC, even if it is minor leagues of the MLS, it's still something. It's still a soccer team. It's still something that he pays for, that he runs with Worldwide Technology. So he really didn't have to do this. Jim Taylor, I mean, he's got the naming rights in the Scott Trade Center. I was just on the website earlier looking. His name's all over that. I mean, that dude's in Enterprise ain't just Enterprise. They got other rental car places. I think National is one of them. Whatever they were going to put on the Edward Jones Dome, I forgot what it was. He owns that one. So it wasn't Enterprise. It was another one. But I think it was National. But anyways, so he's done for this city. I mean, it's big for these two guys to come together and just say, hey, let's just do this on our own. And now I said that it's going to be run by a female-run team. That, that basically they're going to let the girls run it and they're going to fund it. Whatever. They all work for their money. Nothing against nobody. So, I mean, it's kind of cool. Hey, you're going to have something special here. You're going to have something different with the female-run team. That generates a little more media coverage around it. A little more of it in the papers. A little more saying this, a little more saying that. It gets your name out there. It gets you out there. To generate some buzz for the MLS to want to come here. To generate a little bit of excitement around the city that needs it. And it's crazy, right at the same time that all this is happening, you start hearing about the Chargers not being able to make it in LA. And that somebody from, is on the NFL show said, hey, St. Louis should probably make a pitch at him. I mean, people are really starting to think that, things are looking up around here. No, I mean, we still, out here, everybody's still out here getting everybody diseases. Everybody's still out here getting everybody high. Everybody out here still out here killing people. Maybe this somehow can help figure it out. To try to build something, try to put something nice down in the city. The more you see better, the more better it's going to be. If you build it, they will come, right? I mean, there's going to be riffraff everywhere. It's going to be bad everywhere. But maybe you can stop it by... The more money you bring, the more it generates for cops. The more it generates for security. The more it generates for, people want to do that. The more it generates for maybe wanting to build up some of these rundown houses. Maybe it builds up for maybe putting some more money into the homeless shelters and, to try to help people. It builds jobs, too. Jobs always help. If you bring that MLS team here. Because not only is that job for construction workers and all that, and, appraisers and crewmen and, and construction. But then that's consistent jobs during whenever the MLS plays. It seems like they play all year sometimes when you're watching the games on ESPN. You're like, them motherfuckers are still playing? Whatever it is. I think it's 20 games a year at home. That's someone can get some kind of consistent pay, which is going to keep them from wanting to go out here and do something stupid. Now, the killing, I don't know what that has. That has nothing really to do with the killing. I don't understand the killing. I don't understand. That's hard to explain to me. Because killing's not always about the money, and sometimes it's about just being a big. I don't know. I don't know what it's about. I'm not involved. I'm not trying to be involved. I wasn't begging my whole life to be involved. I know enough to know I don't want to be involved. I've done enough to know I don't want to be involved. But building a different culture changes culture. You have to build it, though. You have to start building around something. Improving that, what they did with the hockey stadium. Improving the arch grounds. Improving what they're trying to do with Union Station with the soccer stadium. Next should be the Riverfront. And that was supposed to be the NFL stadium. which is just starting to fall back on the NFL, man. This is really this. It's crazy how they got everything they wanted, and now the fallback plan is essentially St. Louis or San Antonio. If they really had a far, or even London, maybe a team in Canada would go before St. Louis. With all the lawsuits, how quick that would stop what St. Louis is doing, even though in the long run they probably get nothing out of it. But it's drawn out enough to where it's being talked about enough to where it's still a bad eye on the NFL. The judges are letting this go. The judges are saying, yeah, no, y'all fucked up. Y'all are going to have to, something has to happen. And now a team that's going to try to build around a soccer team. His name's back in the news with the NFL team, even if it's never going to happen again. Even if it's just nice to be talked about. Sometimes it's nice just to hear your voice, you know what I'm saying? Like the NBA, when that thing was coming here, when we thought Memphis was coming here, that thing was talked about. Extensively, and I was younger, and I remember that so much. How many people were like excited about getting an NBA team here. People that probably never played basketball in their life, like it was something that excited the city. I don't know if the Rams were ever going to do it the way they did in the early 2000s. I don't know if that was ever going to happen again. But if it did come again, it would really build up and build into a different kind of culture because it would be something to be excited about. And yeah, and like, even with all like, and Ballpark Village is another thing, but it's just, it could be small things here and there that help do that. But like, getting the soccer team would be a big thing to move forward and trying to do something else. Maybe even getting an NFL team, XFL team, AAF, and could have expansion anytime soon. You never know. I don't see the big difference if you put a competitive league out there, which not many minor league teams have done. Even though this is a big baseball town, they can say that because the River City draws, but something else we draw. Some people like some things, some people like other things, and that's just the way it works, and that's the way it works everywhere. And some fans just like sports and would go to the Cardinal games, a football game, a basketball game. They would do that just for fun. I'm pretty sure that my uncle would probably rather go to an NBA game than go to the baseball game. I mean, he goes out and watches, and writes about the high school games and stuff. So I mean, just I'm throwing pennies in a wishing well right now. And even the MLS thing ain't a for sure thing. We can all act all pretty and everybody's out here saying this and that and blah blah. There's still gonna be some votes, and there's still the MLS. The MLS ain't said, hey, just because they said, oh, we're in talks. Yeah, hell yeah, they're gonna build a stadium. Nobody else pays for it. They're paying for it. Hell yeah, we're all in. Do we have a team here? Oh no, we're all in. You gotta be around the bush. You can't put all your cards on the table this early because you never know. It's really a city without its act together. They're about to lose the show. The show's about to go off Broadway. You got owners pissed off about their situations in the city. This could make it better. This could, ease some things up. Because you don't want to start pushing everything into the county if you're the city. You got to keep something. And, a lot of people ain't going to move. They've been down there forever. But you can't grow if nobody's going to move to there. Nobody's going to come from somewhere else. Like I thought about moving to the city before. I don't know if it's the smartest idea, but I mean, it sounds like fun. Going down there, Washington Street, Ballpark. I mean, that all sounds fun unless until something bad happens. But it'd be nice to have something to grow off of. Another thing to grow off of, because Cardinals can't do it themselves. The Blues can't do it during the winter time. It'd be nice to have something else to base it off of, other than Because I'm saying that, but hockey's kind of a biased sport. I mean, baseball, a little more, not more biased in certain ways than it is than the NFL or NBA. Get the point, you know what I'm saying? There's something to build off. And even if it is something small, even if it is MLS, even if it is maybe the XFL and everybody can get excited about. Because other teams have tried it. You got the Ambush. They're still around, You just lost the football team, basically, in the River City Raiders, who went through name changes, ownership changes. Their ownership was not all a thing. The River Otters, which, these are all St. Charles things. And for some odd reason, other than the Rascals, nothing else can stay in St. Charles. But there's other things there. It's just not just, there was other ones. It's just the ones that I've known since I've grown up. I think sports can draw. Even if it is River City, there's still Gateway still draws, and that's still St. Louis fans. Now you see the NBA with this putting out this new development thing with the G League where they're paying people $125,000 not to go to college, which is something kind of cool. They're finally kind of breaking the rules. We're going to put you in the G League first. That's kind of like our college. Now, the G League is something different. G League is more like the minor leagues. It'd be cool if you could find something like that to support, like an ABA. Something that would work. The St. Louis Swarm was another St. Charles one. We're just going to go with St. Charles ones, I guess. But they've had other ones. St. Louis River Sharks and all that was just here. I forgot the other one. River City something. I have them on Twitter. There's a St. Louis Spirits, kind of an ABA, you can't, it's hard to even find a schedule. It'd be kind of cool to have something like that around here. A summer basketball league, an XFL. Something even could work with hockey, even if it is like roller hockey, which when I went to a roller hockey game, looking up the other day, I forgot the team's name. Stampede, something stupid. Can't remember. But it would be something different to have. It's something that could maybe try to draw. If it's competitive, though. You can't go out. If the G League developmental thing ain't like something that can make money off of, believe me, it'll stop. It's going to stop by becoming defunct, to be broken, bankruptcy, like everything that's happened with the minor league teams and minor league leagues everywhere, or they're going to stop it because they're smart enough to stop it. But I think it can be supported in a place like St. Louis with enough people. You got to start moving a little bit towards some of this. If you're going to do all this, moving it towards the county a little bit. Because you would gain more than St. Charles people, even though they're not commuting to the Ambush or something. Because it's not all that. Ambush was fun to watch. But they're not all going to support it. Also, you have some county people, you have some city people, and you have St. Charles people. And even further out than St. Charles, it is closer. South County, even though South County really isn't that much farther from, it's still in West County. West County, another one. If you put it, if you put it like in Maryland Heights, you gain more of a fan base than just moving out to St. Charles because for some reason people are scared of the bridge. Now, it's scary to walk across. I've walked across it a couple times. It ain't scary to drive across. I don't understand it. But it's kind of cool to see something develop, and the G League's not it. G League's not the thing. It's hard to find G League. Or one, and they play, it's a minor league thing. It's the AAA of the NBA. So it's not something that, like, people are going to get into. Because it's going around the same time that you're watching the real thing do it. I think if you put something else here, but something different, if you put, like, an XFL here during this spring, and you put a baseball, be different. But hockey would be something different. Maybe if you did something with like a domed baseball league, a winter baseball league, you could play at the Dome. That could maybe even do something. Just because this is this baseball city, like I said. So it's just to try to like it'd be cool to have something like that. Like I'm not saying like we should all figure it out. Like St. Louis, let's go find a competitive league. No, they have to establish it. And now you're fighting for this AFL team, and you don't know how long it's going to. And then now you're going to fight for probably an XFL team, and you don't know how long that's going to happen. Hopefully they are competitive. It'd be kind of cool to have that. That's what I'm saying. And I think it would work if it was competitive in something in this kind of city. But you have to spread it out a little more than they have spread it out. But that's all up to like a Charlie Evans or a Vince McMahon. Maybe, in the summer thing it would be a David Stern or, Gary Bettman. I don't know who the commissioner in hockey was before that. I'm way too young for that. We're going to start a new segment every day. We're going to get an award to these people. To deserve it. Deserve to be ridiculed. Deserved. That you put it out there and there's video of it. Or I can read it on Facebook or Twitter. We call it Hookers Looker and Your Baby Mama Award. Now this lady right here stopped these people like she was the police because they had expired tags in their car. And of course it's not going to load. We need it to load, That's the kind of stuff that happens on the show. But we do this because these people need to be put out there. They need to be fronted out.
Okay, what does that have to do with you? Move your fucking car. It's fucking raining. No, you need to move. No, you need to move. I'm not going. You need to move this fucking car, bro.
Well, see, that's always the fun of when things don't want to work right. And this lady put expired tags on the car. Not her car. Someone else's car. She's just driving to the parking lot. It's going to mess up somebody's day. See, this is stuff we got to get to work right.
Why are you blocking me in? Okay, what does that have to do with you? Move your fucking car. It's fucking raining. No, you need to move. No, you need to move. I'm not going. You need to move this fucking car, bro. Actually, I'm not going to move. You need to move.
Are you serious? Like, we about to come.
Why are you doing this? Though? Like, it has nothing to do with you.
Actually, I think I'm gonna call and
There's some people behind you trying to leave too.
Okay, let's see.
Bro, she holding up traffic. So she really about to call the police.
It's alright.
You're being fucking extra.
She really tripping up our kid tag.
I will beat the fuck out of you. I swear to God, if you don't move your fucking car, I'm gonna beat your ass. I'm gonna beat her ass. I swear to God, I'm gonna beat her ass if she don't move her fucking car.
Can you move your car?
I'm gonna beat your ass.
I'm not. Nope, I'm not.
Can you please move your fucking car? I didn't even do nothing to do with you. I didn't even do nothing to this girl. Like, what is wrong with her?
Really? What is our tag inspired? Why is our tag bothering you?
What are you doing? Move.
So, yeah.
This is what I got all.
Now, you see, this lady stopped these people because they had expired temp tags in their car. They stopped them and blocked them in the car. So she gets the Hookers Looker and Baby Mama Award of the Week, which comes with a free membership for her husband, Ashley Madison, and she has one, and a dildo for her because she obviously needs something like a wife, like, something like to help that out. All right, that's going to do it for the show. For Lori and Paul, R.I.P. For my grandma, I miss you every day, R.I.P. For Zach, Maddie, Jake, and Joe, this has been the Sports Blog, only on the Greater STL Sports Network.